Hey everybody, this is Ms. Jarzinski, and we're going to be talking through the 5 components of language in this lecture. So when we're talking about the 5 components of language, we're talking about syntax, morphology, phonology, semantics, and pragmatics. Now these 5 components of language are often categorized into some bigger categories, okay? The bigger categories are form, content, and use. Okay, so form consists of syntax, morphology, and phonology. Content consists of semantics, and use consists of pragmatics. So let's think about content first, okay, the content of language. And when we think about content, we're thinking about semantics. And semantics refers to the meaning of language. Okay, so if I say the word dog, what does that mean, right? How do we define this word that we are saying out loud? So I say the word dog and you're thinking about this animal that runs around and has 4 legs and has a tail and barks, right? And there's other defining characteristics of a dog, okay? And when we're thinking about that, when we're thinking about the meaning behind the word, we're thinking about semantics. Form consists of syntax, morphology, and phonology, okay? So morphology is the component of language concerning the construction of words. Okay, so how do we build words? Okay, when we're thinking about morphology, we have to think about the fact that we have 2 different types of morphemes. Okay, morphemes can be free and morphemes can be bound. Free morphemes are really words that can stand alone. Okay, so words like cat and words like run, words that by themselves can stand alone and represent meaning. Okay, bound morphemes carry meaning, but that meaning can only be expressed when those bound morphemes are attached to a free morpheme. So we can attach plural s to the free morpheme of cat and say cats. And now we've built a word in a way that expresses a new meaning. Okay. Same thing with run, the free morpheme run. We can attach a bound morpheme ing, and we've built a new word, the word running, and that new word means something different than just the word run alone. Okay, so again, morphology relates to the construction of words, and it really relates to how we take these free morphemes and these bound morphemes and we put them together to create new words that express new meanings. Okay, so this is what I just said. We build words by putting free and bound morphemes together to create words with new meaning. Okay, then we have syntax, another of the 5 components, and now when we think about syntax, we're still thinking about building things together, but now we're thinking about sentences. Okay, so syntax refers to the rules for combining words into sentences. Okay, so here we have the sentence, Mom kicking the ball. Okay, this is an early developing sentence that a young child might say before they learn to use that is word. Okay, and what we see in this sentence is we've got some morphology going on right here, right? A child who says this has used the rules of morphology to combine kick and ing together. Okay, so that's morphology, but the bigger sentence is syntax. Okay, Mom kicking the ball. Okay, and so when we think about syntax, we think again about these rules that govern things like word order. So we would not say kicking Mom the ball. In the English language, we wouldn't say that, right? Because we know that in the English language, the subject or mom has to go first in a sentence. Otherwise, the sentence isn't going to make sense to us, okay? Then we have the verb and then we have the object. And in English, that's one of the rules that we use to build our sentences, subject, verb, object. And when we do that, our sentences take on new meaning that the words themselves would not create. Okay, so it's the word order that is helping us to understand that sentence, and that's the syntax. Phonology, then, is the part of language that is concerned with the combination of speech sounds for word formation. Okay, so as an example, and I should say, when we're thinking about phonology, again, we're thinking about how we're producing the words. We're thinking about talking out loud and how we put sounds together when we're talking out loud in a way that represents what it is we're trying to say. So we have rules that govern how we can put sounds together in every language. A rule that we have in English when we're creating English words is that you can't put the ng sound at the beginning of a word. So I can say a word that ends with the ng sound, like ding, right? That's a word. Okay, or running, that's a word. Okay, that speech sound can go on the end of word, but I can't start a word. I cannot create an English word that starts with ng. I just can't do it. And so that's one of the rules that we have in English. It's a phonological rule which says even if you're going to create a brand new word in English, you cannot put ng on the beginning of it because we just don't do that in English. Okay? So phonology, again, is the part of language that's concerned with the combination of speech sounds. So when you're talking out loud, how do you put those sounds together to represent the language that you're trying to express? And then finally we have use. Okay, and use relates to the pragmatic component of language. And pragmatic refers to how we actually use language in context. Okay, so an example that I like to give when I'm talking about pragmatics is, say that I, as a clinical instructor here at UW-Eau Claire, say that I'm sitting in my chair in my office and I'm having a chat with another professor. And you walk in to my office, you don't knock, you barge in, and you say to me, Becca, we have to talk about this exam on my test right now. Okay, or we have to talk about my exam grade right now. Okay, well, you have used accurate semantics. You've chosen the correct words to represent your thoughts, right? I know you're talking about your exam. I know you want to talk about it right now, so you've used that time word. You've chosen the correct words. You're using accurate semantics. You have created words. Your morphology is accurate. Okay, and you have also created a sentence that has accurate syntax. Your grammar is accurate. You've put the words in the right order. You've used the right tense. You've done all of those things, right? Okay, and you've articulated it clearly. Your phonology is good to go. Okay, but there's still something wrong, and that something wrong is that you violated one of the rules of the social use, how you actually should use those sentences around me as your professor. Okay, so there are certain social rules that we all pick up on that guide how we actually use the language we have in context, and that's an example of you not picking up on those rules. Now, of course, hopefully you won't be doing that, as you all know those rules very well, I'm sure. So pragmatics, again, has to do with how we actually use language in context, so the social rules that really govern and guide our use of language. Pragmatics also has to do with what we call speech acts, so the reason that we're using language. So sometimes we use language to make a request, sometimes we use language to label things, sometimes we use language to refuse something. Those are all different types of speech acts. That's another example of pragmatic, or how we think about pragmatics when we're thinking about it as a component of language. All right, so we have talked through the 5 different components of language. You should definitely keep in mind that, well, you should be starting to kind of understand the difference between these, and you should push yourself to try to figure it out. Your understanding of these terms will deepen significantly as you go through the course and as you apply these terms to actual language development. So keep coming back to this. Keep coming back to whenever you're thinking about particular language development, think about, okay, wait, now am I thinking about semantics? Am I thinking about syntax, morphology, phonology, pragmatics? What am I thinking about right now as I'm learning this new child development? And every time you do that, you'll get a better understanding of these terms.